Let's be honest. We are swimming in a sea of financial noise. Stock prices flashing, account balances jumping around, headlines screaming about the next big thing. It makes it almost impossible to think clearly. So today, we're going to cut through all that. We're going to separate the idea of money from the reality of wealth. Okay, let's get into it.
This is it. This is the most important question in finance, but it's one we almost never stop to really think about. We see the numbers in our accounts go up and we feel richer, but is that the whole story? Is that what wealth really is? Let's find out. So here's our game plan. We're going to walk through 6 core ideas. We'll kick things off by making a sharp distinction between money and wealth. Then we'll get into the psychology of price, why having rules is so important, and the dangerous power of leverage. And we'll wrap it all up with a clear framework and a new way to think about the end goal.
All right, first up, money isn't real wealth. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this is the foundation for everything else. If you can really internalize this one single idea, it will completely change how you see your own finances and the entire economy, for that matter.
So what exactly is money? Well, at its very core, it's just a tool. Think of it as a social agreement, a promise that says you can trade this piece of paper or these digital numbers for something of actual value later on. It's a claim on wealth, not wealth itself. Wealth, on the other hand, wealth is the real stuff. It's the factory that's actually making things people need. It's the farmland producing food. It's the software that solves a real-world problem. It's even the skills in your head that allow you to create value. Wealth is the capacity to produce. That's the key. And seeing them side by side like this just makes it crystal clear. Money is the medium, wealth is the actual economic value. Money is a promise, wealth is the productive capacity. You can always sell wealth to get money, but money is just a stand-in, a symbol. You absolutely cannot confuse the symbol for the substance. Okay, so that distinction leads us perfectly into our second big idea, the illusion of price. This is a huge trap, and it's where so many people get into trouble, especially when the markets are hot. So picture this. You own something, a stock, a house, doesn't matter what. And you wake up one day and its price has doubled. You log into your account, you see that shiny new number, and man, you feel great. You feel wealthier. But are you? And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Did the company behind that stock suddenly double its ability to produce value? Did your house just become twice as useful? A lot of the time, the price moved just because of emotion and hype, not because the underlying productive value changed one bit. And this is where the rubber meets the road. Those gains you see on your screen, they're just paper gains. They're not real wealth until you do one of two things. You either sell it and turn it into actual usable cash, or you use that asset's value to do something productive, like borrowing against it to start a business. Until then, it's just a number. Which, of course, leads us right into the messy emotional part of all this. Our own feelings about those rising and falling prices are often our own worst enemy. So let's talk about why rules beat feelings every single time. I love this quote because it just nails it. We talk about a fearful market or a greedy market, but the market is just a machine. It's a tool for matching buyers and sellers. We're the ones who show up with all the fear, greed, and panic. So, how do you protect yourself from yourself? You use rules. The people who survive and thrive in markets long-term, they don't have a crystal ball. They have a toolkit, just like this one. They know exactly why they're getting in or out before they do it. They tune out the noise. And most importantly, they have their rules written down and they stick to them no matter how their stomach feels. Okay, on to section 4. Let's talk about a tool that can pour gasoline on both your best and your worst decisions: leverage. It's one of the most powerful concepts in finance, but also one of the most misunderstood. So what is it? Put simply, leverage is just using borrowed money to try and get a bigger return. It's an amplifier. It takes your decision and cranks up the volume on the outcome. Now, when you're right, it feels like pure magic. But when you're wrong, it magnifies the disaster just as much. This is the clearest, most useful way to think about it. You've got to stop thinking of leverage as good or bad. It's neutral. It's just a risk magnifier. It takes whatever risk is already there and dials it up to 11. The question isn't, is leverage good? The real question is, can I handle the magnified risk? Which means the rules for using this powerful tool have to be ironclad. You should only ever consider it if you can look the absolute worst-case scenario in the eye and know you'll survive it.
You must have a predefined, non-negotiable exit plan, and you have to be able to explain the risk in one simple sentence. If you can't do all three, the answer is always no.
Okay, we've covered a lot. Money versus wealth, prices, emotions, leverage. Now let's pull all these ideas together into a simple, practical framework you can actually use. This is how we move from theory to action. Here it is, 5 simple principles. 1, always ask, do I own a promise, money, or a productive asset, wealth? 2, use rules to keep your emotions out of the driver's seat. 3, be incredibly careful with leverage if you use it at all. 4, don't just diversify assets, diversify across things that drive the economy. And 5, and this is huge, especially when you're starting out, the best investment is almost always in yourself, in your own ability to earn. And all of this brings us to our final and maybe most important point. What is the actual goal of all this? What does winning in finance really look like? It's not about getting rich quick. It's something much deeper. It's about durability. Look, here's the harsh truth that separates the pros from the amateurs. The goal isn't to perfectly predict the future. Nobody can do that. The goal is to manage risk so well that you can survive being wrong, and you will be wrong. Mastery isn't about being a genius predictor. It's about being a world-class risk manager. If you walk away with just one thing today, please let it be this. This is your ultimate filter for every financial decision. If I can't define the worst-case outcome, I don't invest. Ask yourself that every single time. What is the absolute worst that could happen, and can I live with it? If you don't have a clear answer, you walk away. Simple as that. And that's really what it all boils down to. The whole financial world is designed to sell you excitement, hype, and the fantasy of easy wins. But real, lasting success is built on the complete opposite. It's built on calm clarity, disciplined risk control, and a relentless focus on just lasting. The goal isn't the thrill ride. The goal is to be durable.